On this show, you'll find inspiration, motivation, and advice from experts, as well as valuable tips on how to get started or improve your business. Let's dive into how you can begin and grow your wisdom business. Inspiring others looks different for everyone. How will you inspire? Welcome to the Wise Dome podcast, and today we're chatting with Annette Densham. Annette Densham is a beautiful, talented human who I'm very lucky to have connected with late last year. She helps shine a light on so many people and their businesses that she herself deserves a light shone on her every day, doing what she and her team at Audacious Agency does for so many businesses out there. Annette, welcome to the Wise Dome podcast.
Oh, I'm glad I'm in a big room. My head would be enormous. I wouldn't fit. Thank you, Nikki. I'm fantastic.
That's good. I'm so excited to have you here. Basically, when I say basically, it's just, I just want to get to the crux of you, because I think you are an amazing human who puts the light on, shines a light on so many other people out there to help build, for them to build trust, and have a community that follows them and so forth. And I think, we need to shine a little light on you today and discover how you got to this point in your career.
Wow, there's a journey. Well, as you were talking, I was thinking I've always been a supporter of the underdog, probably because I've always been an underdog myself. And having, had a bit of a gypsy as a mother, we moved a lot. We went to a lot of schools, had a lot of stepfathers, and I got picked on a lot. So I think by the time I was about 10, I found my voice and realised that I could use it and humour to stand up for other people. So that's what I started doing. And it was probably around the same time, 10, when people start asking you what you're going to do when you grow up.
Yep.
So because I spent so much time in the library hiding from bullies, I just lived in a world of books. And, when someone said to me, what are you going to do when you grow up? I always thought I was going to be a doctor, but you kind of have to be good at maths for that. Not so good at maths. Still count on my fingers, like standing there doing surgery. It's like, how many stitches do we need, doctor? I don't know. Let me just like 1, 2. Like, no doctor for me. So I used my little brain and I did some research and I came across journalism. Now, I lived with my grandparents and my mum, but they loved watching the news, like 60 Minutes and Today Tonight and, Current Affair and ABC. We watched the normal news and ABC News and then whatever news with, like, it was just news. And I was so fascinated, particularly by 60 Minutes. Of, Ray Martin and Yana Vant and, those incredible journalists and the questions they would ask and people would answer them.
Yeah.
And I realised the power of how important it is to tell your story. I lived in stories and it impacted my life in so many wonderful ways. Yeah. So I decided that's what I was going to do for the rest of my life, was to be a journalist. And as I grew, and, I'd ring people and say, hi, it's Annette from wherever. And people would go, oh, you don't want to talk to me. I really haven't done enough. It just built that fire even more in me that, there was just so many people doing so many amazing things. And they grew up in this culture of, tall poppy syndrome and, all of the other stuff that stops us, that I thought, this is my path. This is what I was put on the planet to do, was to use this incredible, curious brain and this ability to be able to take words and put them into a way that impacted people so that I could help them shine the light on them. Yeah. But it's interesting that when you're shining the light on other people, you don't shine the light on yourself.
No.
So, who knew that would happen? So I get that that's really where it came from for me, is that, stories and people go together like hand in a glove. And, if I can encourage or inspire or empower or enable or give someone agency to take what's in here and and share it with others, I just really feel it makes the world a better place, because there's so much doom and gloom.
Yeah.
You don't just need to go and read any of the mainstream newspapers to see that.
Yeah.
But I went, I'm just going to find a way to make this work for other people.
Yeah. And I think, the fact that you, like you said, you're drawing out from people is so hard, because not many of us, and I know myself, I cannot articulate to save my life, but I know how I feel about certain things. Like there's certain ways we express ourselves. And I think it's just an amazing gift that you have to actually draw out people, like draw out the stories in people and actually create a true story. Like you don't fudge it in any particular way. You always draw out the best in someone when you're trying to express to other people, have you met this person? Have you seen this business? Do you know what this person does for other people? Like the fact that you do that connection that you make between them and expressing it to everyone else is a major gift. And that is something that I think a lot of us, I appreciate the most. And I love reading the things that you put out there, because it helps me sort of gauge, oh, okay, so she's doing it. She posts about this stuff and I get the story. I get the message straight away, and it makes me learn how to sort of how to get my message out there a little bit.
Oh, my job here is done. I'm going back to bed now.
I'm going out. Absolutely. But I think it's just, like if you're someone who's sharing your knowledge online, right? And this is what, this podcast is all about, the wise don't. It's like, well, we're putting our information out there, but it's very personal. And sometimes it's very hard to articulate our personal message or our story, because that's what you sort of have to do before you start actually sharing the knowledge, isn't it? Because someone's not going to accept the knowledge unless they know who you are. So I think, where you come in with so many people, you help elevate them in the sense of, just getting their story out there. And I think that's an amazing gift that you have. And I think, I would love to ask, when you meet someone, what's the first thing you ask them to really discover who they are?
Oh, that's a good question. Aside from, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
I might say, what brings you here today?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you know in the room? Who are you connected with? Tell me a little bit about what you do. And they'll go, and quite often people will go, oh, I do this. I go, that's really interesting. So how did you come across that? Like, what brought you along this journey?
Yeah.
And they often look and go, oh, someone actually wants to know, because, when you're networking, when we're marketing, when we're promoting what we do, it's also cursory and scripted. There's so many courses out there on marketing and your relationship building and, all of that type of stuff that has a process. And you can't connect through someone through a process.
No.
You connect through someone with somebody by showing an interest in who they are and what they do. And I think, I often get people go, oh, you're so nice, Annette. I really love talking to you. And I'll say to my husband later, I said, I actually didn't say anything except ask questions.
Yeah.
And I've learned as I've gotten older, and particularly we were in network marketing for a long time, and I learned a lot there about, the questions are the answers. There's a really great book by Alan Pease that I read that I still read today, which is the more that you can draw out of someone, the more they're going to feel comfortable, because you're showing an interest in them. Yeah. And if you listen and you actively listen, so you're not listening to go, well, what can I say next?
Yeah, yeah.
You're listening because you genuinely want to know about that person. Whether that's social media or articles or promoting your program, is that your audience is going to know that you care about them. And if you come from that place of actually caring about what's in it for other people, not just what's in it for you, don't get me wrong. Yeah. I'm a human being. I want people to ask me questions and know about me and buy my stuff.
Yeah.
But before that happens, I have to let them know that it's a two-way street.
Correct.
That it's, you know, not just this buy, you know, features and benefits. It's let's talk about what makes us tick, what makes us relatable, what makes us the same or similar, because we are actually all this, you know, all very similar. And what we want out of life is we want to be loved, we want to be heard, we want to be respected. It's not hard.
Yeah. Like you said, you know, in your past, you know, you went to the library and you read a lot because you didn't want to, you know, obviously all the environment you were in. How did that sort of, you know, because I know you, right? In the sense of, you know, social and all the rest of it. You are the most amazing and vibrant person that I know when you walk into a room. The amazing clothing style that you have, I just adore. And I just think, you know, but I talk to you and I know that, you know, you're not always like that. And obviously with your background, when was that moment where you just went, you know what, I'm going to be me. I'm going to stand out or I'm not going to be worried about hiding, put it that way.
I think it's been a gradual process.
Yeah.
But it started when I was 12.
Yeah, okay.
And I got into trouble in my year 7 class.
Right.
I just happened to be the one that copped it. The teacher had been threatening the class for weeks that if we didn't start behaving, the next person to get into trouble would be kicked out of the class. Enter Annette. Enter Annette. I just had an ear operation and I'd gone up to my teacher. I still remember his name. I can still see his face. And I went up to, and I can still remember the car he drove because I covered it in toilet paper one year. But anyway, that's a whole other story. And I went up to him and I said, you know, excuse me, Mr. Lott, I need to go and take my antibiotic. And he goes, you just got back from a morning tea. And I went, yeah, but I'm not allowed to take my tablet until half an hour after I've had my food. So he's gone, no. And I went, but I have to.
Yeah.
You can't say that to me. I have to go and have my tablet, otherwise I'll get another infection. And he just screamed at me because I was really quiet and shy.
Yeah.
I was a bookworm, you know, and as a kid, it was like my 5th primary school. I didn't want to stand out.
No.
So I can't remember what I said, but even though I was shy, I was still a smart ass. So I must have said something smart ass, and he grabbed me by my arm and he dragged me up the office. And by the end of that day, I was sitting in the corner of another classroom and just sitting there like going, what just happened here? And I thought, that's not fair. Being quiet doesn't have any benefits.
Yeah.
So I think it was from there that I went, well, I'm going to stand up for myself from now on, because not standing up for myself hasn't helped me. And I'm seeing all these other people being picked on, so I'm going to stand up for them as well. And then I use humor a lot. It's got me out of a lot of pickles. It often gets me into trouble, but mostly it gets me out of pickles. So I just went, you know what? I'm just going to be the class clown. It wasn't a conscious thought, but that's kind of how. Yeah. And then just as I grew, you know, and I would come up against these situations, because let's face it, the world isn't all sunshine and rainbows. You know, to quote the fabulous philosopher of our time, Rocky, you know, it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you get hit and how you keep getting up and moving forward. Yeah. So every time I came up against that obstacle of someone being, you know, an ass because of their position of power, or because they've got money or whatever it was, they thought they were better, I just pushed back. And I've just kept pushing back the whole time, because I just thought, this isn't helping me. You know, how can I do what I need to do if I keep coming up against these people and I back down? Like, if I back down, I'm the one that loses. At least if I stand up for myself or I say something, I've got a 50-50 chance of it coming out my way.
Exactly.
Rather than
you never
100%.
know.
Yeah, you don't know. You just don't know. So, and I think I know that having weight loss surgery 2 years ago was like that final unplug that I needed. I went from being very unhealthy, very unwell, sad and miserable. I'm very good at putting on a good face. I mean, and that's not pretending. That's just going, I'm a bit of a Pollyanna. My book's called How to Eat a Shit Sandwich and Keep Smiling. I'm good at eating shit sandwiches and going, all right, what can we make of this? Yeah, okay, something good can come out of this. Yeah. So having that surgery and getting my health in order, I was like, oh my God, this is what life is meant to be like. So making hard decisions is also part of that, because we're our own worst enemy. All of the things and opportunities that I was missing out on wasn't because of everyone out there. It was because of me and the way that I viewed myself. So the more that I came up against that, the more that I went, I'm not going to let this stop me.
Yeah. And I think, like I was saying earlier before we started recording, it's, you can control how you feel. You can't control how other people feel. So you just sort of got to, if you've got to take that step and, you want to make a stand, you make a stand, because no one else is going to do it for you. You just have to do it for yourself. But that leads me to the next question of, that was almost like a foundation you were building there, wasn't it? Because in a sense, you were building that strength for yourself to then become a voice for other people. You twisted that challenge that you had, as a child and everything like that, and you turned it into something positive and turned it into something further positive to actually be a voice for other people as well. Not just for yourself, to stand up for yourself, but also, not make stories, but, derive stories for other people.
I can make some cracker stories up there. I've got a great one from year 5 camp, which is a cracker.
Yeah. You have to tell us now.
Oh, all right. So I think it was my very first camp, and it was my first year at this new school. So I didn't really know anyone. Everyone already had their little friendship groups. And so there was another school there as well. So I went, I'm going to go and see if I can make friends with these people.
Yeah.
So, we're all sitting around there talking about their families and things. And someone said to me, so where do you live, Annette? Came out of my mouth was, oh, well, my parents died when I was really young, and I now live with my auntie in a caravan out the back of her house. So, I have to get myself ready for school, and I have to do this and I have to do that. And I told this big, long story about this total, my mum was still alive. I lived with my mum and my sister and my grandparents, but they were fascinated. And it was then that, one of those foundation things where I went, wow.
People like this.
People like this. This is like, I eventually told them that it wasn't true.
But we all do that, don't we? We still do that now, I think, in business. We try to sort of shine a light on this thing. We fluff it up a little bit here and there.
To make a story. Yeah. Well, again, looking at the media, the stories that get attention are those really really ones. So, we can't be blamed as human beings to want to embellish a little bit. I am a great embellisher. If you ever listen to me tell a story, it will sometimes, you'll see me go like that, and it's like, okay, how can I pad this and make it even better? But mostly my stories are based on fact. And because, someone said to me many years ago, and I was complaining about someone who had unfriended me, and it was it really hurt, and I couldn't understand why, and I was upset, and I was talking to my friend, and she said, Annette, whether people will love you or hate you, it's got nothing to do with you. So just be you.
Exactly.
And it took me a long time to get that. Yeah. But when I got it, it was like, oh, so Nikki's experiences in the world and how she views it, her beliefs, her ethics, her values, her background, all frame how she's looking at me through her eyes. So I could be the nicest person on the planet, but if you had a teacher who had sounded like me or looked like me, or a mother who had the same type of voice as me, that would colour the way that our relationship would or wouldn't grow. Yeah. So when I realised that, I went, why am I pretending to be something? Why am I wearing corporate suits? And I don't even like freaking corporate suits. Why am I wearing these stupid big heels to events and I get home and my feet are killing me
me.
they're the size of bloody tree trunks, and I'm squishing them in the, or why am I standing there agreeing with someone when I just want to shake them and go, are you an idiot? Like, seriously? I don't say that to people. I think it, but I don't say it. So showing up as you honors you because you cannot control what other people think and feel about you, and that can ebb and flow and change with the world. So when people are reticent about promoting what they do, they're letting all of that stuff that happened in their childhood in their head and the way that other people look at them get in the way. Because, I say to my kids all the time, don't worry about what people think about you, mate, because you know what? They're actually probably not even thinking about you because they're thinking about themselves.
Exactly.
So you get on and do you. And if you upset someone or you hurt someone or, whatever happens, you can fix it or you can't. But if you let other people get in your way of how you put yourself out there, you're holding yourself back because of them. And I tell you what, they're not going to pay your mortgage. They're not going to buy your food at the end of the week. And they're certainly not going to give you a cuddle when things go bad. So just worry about the people who support you, cheer you on, and those other people will fall off by the wayside because they always do.
Yep, exactly. And God, it's exactly the same conversation I had with my 12-year-old just the other day about, if you come across someone, remember it's never you. It is always 100% them. If they've got an issue or they approach you in a particular way, you just ask them, is everything all right? And walk away. Or if you don't, it's never you. Don't take it personally. And just like you said, Annette, it's like it's a background. There's a whole environment around them, and there's a whole environment around you. And sometimes they just don't mix entirely well. So
you can only impact and affect what's happening around your little bubble.
Yeah.
And I talk a lot about imposter syndrome because I have imposter syndrome. Yeah. And I don't think that you can ever get rid of it because I think it's actually quite healthy. Yes. Having that inner voice saying, who do you think you are? Yeah. As long as that inner voice is not like going, who do you think you are, idiot? But if it's saying, who do you think you are, then it gives you an opportunity to go, well, actually, I'm really highly skilled. I've had a lot of achievements. I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. Yeah. And it can be very grounding. Yes. So, it's all about how we filter that inner voice. And we really have to stop being so hard on ourselves. Yeah. Because it just breaks my heart when I speak to someone and they go, oh, I'm not ready, or I haven't done enough, or who would want to hear from me? And it's like, well, mate, if they want to listen to some pillock influencer who's talking about, I don't know, I've seen lots of stuff about people from other countries coming here and doing videos on about how weird Australia is. It's like,
have you lived here? Actually,
it's like, hello. But the thing is those people, they don't care if people, well, maybe they do care because they're human beings, they absolutely do care, but they're not letting that stop them. So if people are interested in that type of stuff, then you just have to create a space for them to be interested in what you're doing. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so true. I know, like when it, and this is also these, I guess our conversation, I want people to be aware that, understanding yourself is so important, and knowing where you are in this world is so important, and how you react to things is also very important, and realizing that what you have is very genuine because you are human. You have an amazing gift. And I think we all have amazing gifts. And there's a lot of people out there that feel like, oh, no, I can't get online. I can't teach this, or I can't share that. Why would anyone listen to me? Why would anyone want to do this or anything? What it comes down to really in the end is like really knowing yourself. And I think anyone who is actually just looking at starting a business online, sharing their knowledge or anything like that, I think is very important to recognize themselves first and be true. Because I think so many people out there, like you said, there's coaches out there, they follow processes, they follow, this is just the steps, but they don't introduce their own special formula. And I think when you have your special formula embedded in there, which is themselves, that's when it becomes successful, because people see that. They really
Even
need to
if
know
you're
that.
building something big, you know, like one of my goals is that, you know, I want to build Audacious Agency to the point where I'm not doing the hands-on work anymore. You know, like I've been working since I was 14. You know, I'm almost 53. I want to start pulling back the reins. And so we're putting into place processes that will elevate us to that managerial strategic point of view, so we can empower and bring other people into our team who align with our values and where we're going and our love for people.
Yeah.
But I always say to people, success is not money and things. It doesn't start there. It starts between here and here. Yeah. And that's why personal development, regardless of whether you're starting a business, you're in the middle of a business, you're thinking about starting a business, that you have to work on yourself first, and you have to work on yourself continuously, because personal development's like a shower. You know, you have one every day. You don't have one once a year and go, that's it, I've had my shower for the year, off I go. So personal development is about just being honest enough with yourself to go, oh, okay, I recognize that flaw in my character. I can remember many years ago, like because I'm naturally introverted, I've learnt to be an extrovert. I caught myself talking and I was just like me, because I was trying to feel the silence and the discomfort I felt being the center of attention. I was probably about 24 years old.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting by myself in my room and just going, oh my God, I can't believe that came out of my mouth. How embarrassing. And I'd been reading a book on communication, and the book had said something about the importance of silence in conversations, that it's okay to have a pause, and that's okay to ask a question if you're feeling uncomfortable, to turn the attention from you to the other person, to give yourself a moment to regroup. So from then on, whenever I was in conversations, you know, I would wait for someone to ask about me before I just started going, well, I'm Annette and I'm blah, 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 and asking more questions. Yeah. And that's just something I've continued to do through my life is, you know, I read a lot of personal development books because I want me to be the best that I can be, because I can't represent my business. I can't represent the people who, you know, come to us and pay us money to represent them if I don't feel confident and I don't feel comfortable with who I am. And like, let's just get it. I'm not perfect. I stuff up all the time. I'm sure I've left a bloodshed of clients who think that I'm the worst person on the planet for whatever reason. But when I look back and I go, and I guess this is another thing for success as well, is own your part of it. You know, when I look at when we've had a client that's left us unhappy, it's like, well, what did we do that we could do better next time? Yeah. So that the next person doesn't have that experience. And saying to that person, I'm really sorry that you had this experience. I totally understand. And like, there's no blame there. It's like, you know, feel, felt, found. I know how you feel. I'd feel that way too. This is, you know, so then you become a lot more relatable. And I've saved many relationships that way by ringing people up and going, you know what, I stuffed up. I'm really sorry. Last year I had to ring a client. Oh my God, worst moment. I'm going red just thinking about it. Big award, big national award. He's doing amazing things in the property space. And at the time, you know, I was recovering from surgery still. I was, you know, still kind of feeling my way and my brain wasn't quite working well. And I totally forgot to press submit on his award. And then 2 days later I went, oh, did I do that? And I went and looked and I went, oh no, we put in so much work, both of us. Yeah. And the first thing I did was I picked up the phone and I went, hi, it's Annette. I'm so sorry, but I forgot to click submit on the award. And I just heard him go, you know, disappointment in that. Yeah. And he still works with me today. He could have like right then and there gone, no, not working with you again. That was a big mistake, But he came on, he signed on for another year, and, you know, I've already created the entry. It's ready.
It's all done, ready.
We fixed up our systems and processes so that doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
So I go back to success starts between here. Work on yourself, because if you're trying to promote what you do, it's very hard to do that if you're constantly doubting yourself or second guessing what you're putting out there. You just have to go. You know, I hear people going, "I'm just waiting to get it right." It's like, yeah, but it'll never be right.
No.
You know, it'll never be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. Stop trying to be perfect, people. You can't, it's not possible.
Doesn't exist.
Stephen Hawking, one of the smartest men who ever lived on our planet, said, you know, for the universe to exist as it did, things had to go wrong. Yes. So why do you and I expect to be perfect if the universe isn't?
Yeah.
For me, that was like, oh my God, that's revelationary. Like, what? I'm allowed to make mistakes. Get out of 10.
And hey, I started this podcast and I'm still making bloody mistakes every time I talk to people, but we don't even edit them out anymore. I'm like, whatever. It goes out there, it goes out. It's a conversation.
Well, it's real. And you said something before, Nikki, about how pardon me, how now I can't remember what I was going to say. See, not perfect. Oh, I remember now. See, that triggered it. You said something before about how you didn't feel that you were special. And, like, I don't think any of us are special.
No.
We're unique because we're individuals. But, you know, we live in a world where, you know, we're calling little girls princesses and we're calling women queens and men kings, and, you know, we're giving every child a prize so they don't feel like they're not worthy. We have to make mistakes. And we have to fall and hurt ourselves, because that's how we learn. And it's the same for putting yourself out there. You know, I'm not special. I'm not extraordinary. I'm just someone who sucked it up and went, okay, what can I do better?
Yeah.
And we all have the capacity to do this. It's not a special skill that's required. It's really just an observation of where you are and how you think, and that self-reflection and the ability to go, how can I change? I had the absolute privilege, I wrote some notes somewhere, of hearing Karen Jacobson, the GPS girl, so the Australian voice of Siri, talk yesterday. And her talks about recalculating your direction, whether it's life or business promotion, is all about recognizing you're on the wrong path.
Yeah.
And if you're on the wrong path, what do I need to do to get back on the right path?
Yeah.
You know, and that all comes down to that acknowledgement of your own abilities and lack of abilities. And if you don't have those abilities, get someone to help you.
Yeah.
Ask for help. That's a good personal development lesson to learn. Ask for help.
Reach out. There's no harm in reaching out.
Touch somebody.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. Yes.
Yeah,
and it's funny. I had Alessia listening, and Alessia's my daughter. I had Alessia listening to I'm Coming Out by Diana Ross the other day. I'm like, listen to this song. This is a good song. But it's just, you know, because I said to her, I go, you're at an age now where you just be you. Don't worry about what anyone else thinks.
Oh, I would hate to be 12.
Yeah. Oh, it's bloody hard.
Oh, my God. Like back when I was 12, we had 4 TV stations, and, you know, most of them ended at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And, you know, you had to be in bed at 8. You know, like 12-year-olds now, some of them are up all. My son, he's gone now. He's been up all night.
Yeah.
He's 22, but, you know, to be young now, there's so much pressure, and the more that we can do to empower our kids to stand strong in who they are. And I know that's easier said than done with all of the influences hitting at them, but start personal development of your kids at the youngest age that you can. There's so many great books out there, you know, for toddlers through to preschoolers, through to teenagers, through to young adults, which will help them find who they are, because you don't have to be like everybody else. You just have to be you, because that's enough.
Yeah. And look, we have conversations every day with everyone. And I think one of the main messages in our conversation, I feel, is it's, and hopefully you agree, but it's, to me, being aware of what you have to offer and recognizing that, and just knowing and believing that there are people out there that will appreciate what you have to offer. And when you know yourself and you can articulate it and you can share it with other people, I think, that is, and before when you were saying, success comes from, between here, Annette's pointing at, her ears. To those who are listening to this, it does, it all comes from you as a person, and just that continuous growth, like you said, personal growth and everything like that, is just so important. You never stop personally, learning things and growing and all that sort of stuff, because it's an environment. If you're sitting by yourself in a, I don't know, off the grid forest, not doing anything, you're still going to be learning stuff every day, but you probably won't learn as much as you would if you're interacting with people. We are an animal that needs to be communal and talk to people and
look,
learn.
there really is no such thing. No one is stagnant. You're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. There's another really great book that I read a lot. It's called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, and it's based on the principles of compounding interest. Like if someone says to you, if I gave you $1 million or 1 cent that doubled every day, what would you take? And most people go, I'd go the $1 million, instant gratification. But if you take that 1 cent that doubles every day over 30 days, in 30 days, you've got $10 million. But we're too busy looking at what's right in front of us instead of looking for what can be the next month and the next month. And that's a big error that people make in promoting their business, is they go for the quick wins, the easy wins. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if that's your whole strategy, then you're going to get worn out, because you're constantly living on the edge, because you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. And this Slight Edge book is all about, what are those little things that you can do every day that in the long run will culminate in the success or the wins that you're looking for, like whether it's your health or whether it's your business. And we're talking about business. And our number one job after starting our business, so our primary reason for starting a business is we've got a solution to someone's problem.
Yes.
And if you've done your market research, then you know that there's a need in the market for that. So you're already starting on the front foot. You've got something that people want. Yeah. But if you're the best kept secret because you're letting your internal voice stop you from promoting that and going for the quick wins, or going, I'm just going to do another course because I need to learn more skills, and you're not actually implementing it, you will never have that success, because you'll be exhausted. You'll be burnt out. But if you go, my primary job in business is to market what I do. Doesn't matter what you sell, whether it's a course or a program or a widget or a product or a service. Your number one job is to market that. How do you market that? You reach out and you connect with people every day through little things. It could, go follow me on Facebook. I don't often sell in my posts, even in business groups. No. I tell stories. Now, I know not everybody has my storytelling skills, but if you are not a writer like me, but, you can sit and talk into your phone, then you can tell a story about something that happened to you in your business, or something that a customer said, or something that you've seen in the news, or it's all about creating a tapestry that leads back to you, this beautiful carpet that evolves at the end of the year, when you've done all those slight edge little things and you've dropped those little tidbits everywhere, and people then start building a relationship with you. I say to people, okay, so you're doing Facebook ads and you're really disappointed that after 1 week, or you're doing a PR campaign and after 3 months, you're not turning over $10 million. If I met you at a bar and we were sitting there talking, and I said to you, hey, I think you're really cool. Do you want to come home with me? Yeah. Then you'd go, no, I don't even know you. we're doing the same with our marketing, like we're regurgitating all of our sales pitches over people, and we're saying me, 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 me. That's what a sales pitch is. It's advertising is look at me. PR and promotion and telling stories is, hey, let's look at you, or let's share something that you can relate to. Let's shine the light on something that you go, oh, I have that problem. This person really understands me. It's such a powerful tool, but it's not instant. Sorry, people. I don't have a silver bullet.
Yeah, it's patience. Patience is a virtue. But I want to ask you, what I've just lost my train of thought. See, there you go, perfection's out the window. Oh, bloody hell, I've just gone totally blank. But do you have any advice for anyone? Like, obviously, you've given a lot of advice here, but do you have any advice for anyone who might be thinking of just sort of going, you know what, I possibly do have something to share out there? What do you reckon they should do to sort of look at themselves, to create their story, to start, questioning themselves? What advice could you give them?
Start with what you're comfortable with sharing. You don't have to be an oversharer like me. Even my husband said, you share so much. And it's like, well, I didn't share
that.
Would you like me to? He's like, no. And I'm also very respectful of people in my life that when I am sharing, I will either ask permission or not share it. So first of all, what are you comfortable with sharing? You don't have to share every aspect of your life, but, so write down a list of things that you're comfortable to share about that has to do with your business. And then I say to people, pick up the phone and ring someone you really trust and tell them the story that you want to share, and ask them if it's okay to record it. So do it via Zoom. So if you record it, you can then transcribe it. And then you can see your words in front of you, because one of the challenges of writing stories or sharing stories is that when we're building it in our head sometimes has trouble discerning between fact and fiction. But when it's in front of you, you can be a little bit more critical of what you're looking at. And you go, oh, okay, well, I can take that out, and maybe I can embellish this and exaggerate a bit here and then share it. And keep it short to start with. You don't have to do, again, War and Peace like me. You can just get to the point. And this is a really good tip for people who are doing videos. Maybe script them first before you get on, because I don't have time to listen to 10 minutes of waffle before you get to the point. Get to the point. I want to hear you. I want to hear what you have to say, but I don't want to listen to all the extraneous stuff. Just get to the point. And once you've done that and you've got that story out, then post it. Don't wait and
sit on it.
And sit on it and talk yourself out of it. Put it up, because here's what I know about most people who are in our circles is they want to cheer you on. They want to celebrate your wins. They want to support you. And also we live in a world where it's all about engagement and numbers and followers and viral and influencing and all of those things. Is that there's I could do a whole talk on this. Look at all these books I'm bringing up.
I know.
There's a principle called Pareto's principle. So it's the 80-20 rule. But basically it means that, 80% of people are never going to do what 20% of people do. And that's okay. We can't all be leaders. We need followers. We need people to do the stuff. And if they're happy with their lot in life, fantastic. The same principle applies to when you're promoting and marketing your business. Is 80% of the people that are following you will never, ever, ever comment or like or interact with you online. Don't use those numbers as a sign of failure. It's like, my post only got 3 likes. Yeah, but how many people read that post that you may never know about, that you've influenced, and then they see another post from you a few days later, and, you've continued, I call it rubbing salt into the wound, is that when you're solving problems for people with your solution, you've got to rub the salt into the wound. You've got to give them a call to action to actually take the next step. So, and that action for me is dropping those breadcrumbs, because it allows people to get to know you. So don't just stop at one post. Do another one. And you know what? I never go back and look at my posts. My husband will go, you made a mistake in it. And I was like, I don't care. I'm a human. I make mistakes, but you're a writer. I don't care. Writers make mistakes. I don't have an editor following me around going, oh, Annette, we better fix that dangling modifier up. There's another book, Drunken Whites. It is a really good book to read if you want to get better at your writing. But keep doing it. And I think that's the most important advice I can give to people. Don't get to the end of the month and go, that didn't work. Building relationships with people takes time. Building a brand takes time. It's taken me, I've been in business 10 years. It really took me probably 5 years to get to the point where I would go to something and people would go, oh, it's Annette. And I'd go, do I know you? not obviously not out loud, but in my head I'm going, shit. Where do I know this person from? Oh my God. And now I just go, hey, it's great to see you. Can you remind me where we met? I meet lots of people. I recognize your face, but I'm not quite sure where. And same with remembering people's names. Oh, hi, Annette, because when you start building a profile, people know you, people who never interact with you, and you go to events and people go, I remember being at an award, standing there talking to this lady, and the next minute I hear this. And she was really excited, and I've kind of looked at this person and I've gone, and I've looked. That
was
around.
Annette screaming out, by the way, too. Like she wasn't trying to scream on the thing.
I was just being very quiet. And she came up, she went, oh my God, I've been following you for so long. I love everything that you do. Yeah. I didn't know her. She wasn't on my friends list. It was just through these groups that I would go and share my knowledge into. And that's my next tip, is believe in the law of reciprocity. Don't hold too tightly onto your intellectual property. You don't have to give the farm away, but if you've got a solution to someone's problem, share that knowledge that you have, because most people won't act on it. And eventually, the more that they see you, they will come to you and say, hey, I love your posts on Facebook. I've been following you for years. I need some help. And it's happened to me so many times.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, I'm so glad that year I started my business and I went, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm used to pushing other people into the spotlight. Now I've got to put me out there, that I just kept going. I kept going through trolls. I kept going through the keyboard warriors. I kept going through the doubt and the imposter syndrome. Yeah. And I just kept being consistent, because
that's the word.
And consistency is not about you have to do it every day. No, it's just about making a commitment to yourself that if you want your business to grow, that you do have to consistently back yourself and put stuff out there. Even if it's once a week, people will still, if you've got good stuff, people will follow you.
And it will grow slowly it will grow.
Won't happen overnight, but it will happen.
It will. I found my question. I remembered it. What legacy are you looking to leave, my love?
My legacy is, it's a planet that recognizes that everybody's story has value, that we all deserve to be heard and listened. And if I can demonstrate that by role modeling that behavior, and it gets uncomfortable for me too, and empowering other people and giving them the agency that what they have to say matters and can change the world, even if it's just their little world. I'm not talking about, universal change. I'm talking about owning their skills and their abilities and their insights and their love for what they do with more people. And my legacy is that I want to empower people to tell their stories, because their stories are worth hearing and their stories are worth sharing. And I do that through my work talking about imposter syndrome, and I do that through my work, encouraging people to reach out to the media and enter awards because I just want to see people shine.
Yeah, you're amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I've loved our conversation today. It's been fabulous.
I know.
And I
love
really
you too,
appreciate
Nikki.
I appreciate the time you give me because I know you are a busy bee, always doing stuff, and you're giving me your time on a Saturday morning to record this. So I do really and truly appreciate this.
Oh, that's okay. I've been gallivanting all week that it was always going to be a no-brainer. And I sat here this morning, I've written a PR plan and I've sent a proposal to somebody. So I actually don't mind working Saturdays because there's no phone calls.
Yes, it's quieter. Yes, exactly.
It's really nice.
But
I want to thank you for the platform that you're creating and giving people that opportunity to connect with other like-minded people, to collaborate and to, elevate the world by sharing knowledge. I mean, that's an amazing thing. You've invested so much into it.
Thank you.
And I think that you're awesome too. We should start a Nikki and Annette fan club.
Oh, we should.
Yeah, let's do it.
The NAR Club.
The NAR Club. I love it.
Oh, you're a beautiful woman. All right. Well, thank you again so much, Annette, for your time. I really, really appreciate it. And all the details on Annette, to connect with her, find out more about Annette's amazing, service at the Audacious Agency as well. But everything on Annette we'll have in our summary below. Be sure to click on the link and subscribe. And again, Annette, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I'm blowing kisses.
Thanks for listening to the Wise Dome podcast. If you enjoyed and have been inspired by this episode and you'd like to support the podcast, do subscribe and please share it with others. Post about us on social media or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from me, Nikki Kelly, you can follow me on Instagram at Wise Dome Podcast. WISEDOME Podcast. I'm Nikki Kelly. Thanks again, and we'll catch up next time.